Hello, you are watching 724 News on UZREPORT TV. I am Aziz Kudradov. Getting going with the main events of the day during our program. 8 years in a strict regime colony under Article 104 of the Criminal Code of Uzbekistan. Such a decision challenged our district court in criminal cases adopted against Alexander Tashkinov. Trial process was held in open format. Journalists were also present. Previously tried, Tashkinov committed a serious crime, breaking the skull of the brain of the victim. During the consideration of the court session, the guilt of the defendant was fully proved. Open trials are aimed at preventing crimes in the Republic as well as shows openness of the courts. It was noted that the bodies of internal affairs, the prosecutor's office, conducted preventive talks, due to which cases of serious crimes by citizens are reduced. So over the past months, 5 crimes of the medium and light character under Articles 105 and 109 of the Criminal Code were committed. Tashkent City Administration of Bureau of Enforcement and the Prosecutor General's Office launched an electronic online auction, e-compulsory auction, from September. At this auction, items that are collected from debtors will be put up for auction. On 6 September, Tashkent Institute of Railway Transport Engineers hosted a training seminar for BPI staff. Electron auction is organized in order to ensure legality, transparency and objectivity of those avoiding and eliminating price manipulation and other abuses. Lots and other information relating to this electronic auction will be announced 10 days before the auction. To participate in it, people must pay deposit in advance and register through electronic signature. If in the first auction prices will rise, then repeated bidding will be conducted by reducing the price. During the seminar, information on electronic system that simplifies the activities of organization was presented. According to the experts, this system is used to obtain all information about the debtors, in particular about their bank personal accounts and notary contracts. By doing this, people can make some restrictions when using them banking or notary services, as well as when living for abroad. This system facilitates the work of employees of the Bureau and prevents problems in recovering a debt. Prominent personalities Amur Temur and Napoleon Bonaparte, who can be barely compared, are presented to the reader in a new work by Farmonov's family. Our crew visited the presentation of the book and learned more about the unique comparison of commanders.
Amir Timur, Kuragon va Imperator Napoleon is the title of the book written by Doctor of Historical Sciences Professor Rahmon Farmonov and Muzaemkhon Farmonova. This book was presented in the National Complex Kitop Olama. The work describes the historical significance of two skilled warriors who managed to conquer many lands in order to create centralized states of their era. The comparative analysis of Sahib Kiran and Napoleon is due to historical facts and events. Greatness, talent and skill of statesmen were noted. It is not by chance that the authors chose these persons, because similarities and sometimes differences can be shown both in public administration strategies and in the personal qualities of the characters, said the authors of the book.
In the framework of the program of events dedicated to annual week of museums held on September 2 to 8, open doors have been held in the museums of the capital, during which number of spiritual and educational events, exhibitions and meetings with art critics took place. This time, the parts of the national art were exhibited in the State Museum of Armed Forces of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Details follow.
The Academy of Arts of Uzbekistan provided assistance in organization of an exhibition called Ananalar Etar Davam. Participants presented samples of applied art and art crafts with unique ornaments and patterns at the exhibition. The exhibits of ancient Oriental art, carving in Genj and wood were particularly attractive. According to the artisan Anwar Ziyaev, it is a very laborious work, which requires from the artisan not only fantasy but also patience. At the official part of the event, the artisans who took an active part were awarded diplomas and valuable prizes.
Uzbekistan Football Federation has announced the resignation of Samuel Babayan from the head coach post. Because coach and his staff couldn't qualify to the World Cup, national team's coaching staff is completely disbanded. On 5 September, our team played in a draw with South Korea 0-0. We missed the last chance to participate in Russian World Cup. Iran and South Korea directly qualified to the World Cup in Group A. Syrian team, playing in a draw with a score of 2-2 with Iranians in the last round, took the third place in the group, thanks to the number of goals scored.
Conference Management of Sports Organizations in Uzbekistan and World Experience passed in the capital with participation of well-known scientists of our country, foreign experts, teachers and journalists. Speakers Mirza Hakim Tukhtamirzaev, the head of the press service of the State Committee on Physical Culture and Sport, Alisher Aminov, Vice President of the International Fund for Support of Legal Initiatives, as well as Vladimir Leonchenko, a Russian professional sportsman and coach. The current state of the sport and the pressing problems in its development were considered. It was also proposed to hold more open elections of football functionaries by voting and through debates. The composition of the professional executive committee should involve directly the coaches themselves, players and clubs. As an example of world experience, it was suggested to take the German model of football development. The head of the press service of the State Committee on Physical Culture and Sport, Mirza Hakim Tukhtamirzaev, presented the organizational structure of this body, identified some shortcomings in its work, including inadequate and incorrect operation of sports facilities and equipment, the lack of careful selection of specialists and trainers for training, lack of teaching aids, and suggested methods for their further prevention. The Museum of Olympic Glory hosted a meeting of Paralympic prize winners with students of the Institute of Railway Transport Engineers, school children and journalists. The event was aimed at attracting young people's attention to sports and creating an opportunity to get to know our champions more closely. Due to the fact that a week of museums was announced in our country, we planned a number of events, one of which is the meeting of our Paralympians with students and school children. I'm confident that the meeting was fruitful. I think that open days in museums directly contribute to increasing the number of visitors to museums, especially young people. There are more than 2,000 exhibits demonstrating the achievements of Uzbek athletes at the Olympic Games in this museum. There are only 6 such museums in the world.
This was all news for today. Watch the latest news on UZREPORT TV. Thank you for your attention.